And now let me introduce the presenter. Anthony DeSimone is a CPA and currently serves as president and owner of You're the Expert Now, LLC, which is a consultancy firm specializing in small business guidance. His career spans 3 decades, during which he has held roles as CFO, COO, and a small business owner. Anthony also teaches as an adjunct at the University of Buffalo Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership. He instructs individuals and businesses on a variety of accounting and financial subjects. Presently, he's diving headfirst into the world of AI, working on his what in quotes is his Chat GPhD. Tony, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us tonight. At this point, the microphone and the controls are yours.
Thanks, Ted. ChatGPT, what is it? I think before we get into it, an origin story of what is ChatGPT is necessary. So ChatGPT is a language model developed by a company called OpenAI. Now, OpenAI was founded by a young man named Sam Altman, and that was back in December of 2015. And when he created OpenAI, he received a lot of funding from many of the tech giants of Silicon Valley. One of the most notable is Elon Musk. Now, they had an idea of what they wanted to do with OpenAI. Elon Musk certainly did. And that was to advance AI in a safe and beneficial way with the ultimate aim of creating a more positive future for humanity. And it was originally structured as a nonprofit organization to promote transparency and cooperation in AI research. So the whole idea here was to create an open source type of software so that the whole world can use it and then promote this AI even faster than any one company. But in 2019, OpenAI announced that it would be transforming into a for-profit company with the aim of accelerating the development of the AI technologies. There was so much demand for what they were creating that it became more and more expensive to keep it going. And they felt that the only way that they can move forward was to become a for-profit company. Now, Elon Musk didn't like that idea because he was a bit uncomfortable with any one person or any one company owning OpenAI and then having essentially control over it. So he left OpenAI and he stopped funding OpenAI. And then just recently, Microsoft jumped in and invested $10 billion into OpenAI. Now think about that for a second. ChatGPT, the beta version, the one that we're looking at, began in October of 2022. That's when the beta came out. A few months later, Microsoft buys approximately 50% of OpenAI for $10 billion. So within months of the beta coming out, OpenAI had a valuation of $20 billion. How about that? And now there's people who estimate OpenAI worth anywhere between 30 billion and 100 billion if it went public today. So it's an incredible growth rate. Now the word Chat GPT, so that's short for chat. The G is generative, the P is pre-trained, and the T is transformer. So the chat part of ChatGPT, the reason why it's called chat is because when you're interacting with ChatGPT, it truly feels like you're having a chat with another human being on the other side of the computer. So it almost feels human. The G part is generative. So what is generative? New responses to questions and comments rather than just selecting from a predetermined set of responses. So instead of the past where an app would have a downloaded set of answers predetermined, the generative part of GPT, it can generate a response almost like a human could generate a response. It could answer the same question 100 different ways because of the generative part. Now, this is the part where you can get into trouble. There's a term called hallucinations, AI hallucinations, and we'll get into that. But what the generative part of GPT does is it fills in the gaps. If it doesn't have the information, what it will do is fill in the gaps with what it believes that information should be, which could create some problematic situations, which we'll talk about. Now, the P is pre-trained. And what is pre-trained? It's already been trained on a massive data set of text. So essentially what OpenAI did is they uploaded pretty much the whole internet into Chat GPT. And it was updated through September of 2021. So all of the data from the internet essentially uploaded into Chat GPT through September 2021. And then the transformer part, it's deep learning algorithms to analyze input text and generate output text, understand and respond in multiple languages. So the transformer part is the part where it weights how you ask the question or what you're asking. It weights the words in the sentence. So it's incredibly important on how you ask the question. And the term prompt is going to be a very familiar term with everybody because it's incredibly important as to how you prompt the question or the request, because the transformer part will weight every word that you ask and then determine based upon that weighting how it's going to respond to your question or your demand. And then just like a human, it keeps learning and improving over time. It's really an incredible tool. Now, how do we get to ChatGPT? If you don't know, if you don't have an account, all you have to do is go to openai.com, and then you'll see on the website where you'll see this screen where it says try ChatGPT. You just press that, and that's going to bring you into either a login or sign up. You sign up, and after you're done with that, you are here at the prompt. Now, the best way to use ChatGPT, the ChatGPT use accelerator, some of the things that you want to do, especially when you're starting out, is first of all, use it like Google. So many of us are already in the habit of having Google open, just almost by habit, going to Google for searches, things like that. You need to start doing that with ChatGPT. So have it open all of the time. I have it open all of the time, and I'm constantly going to it, using it, making a habit of it. And then also create the habit of asking yourself, can I do this faster with ChatGPT? Can I do this more efficiently with ChatGPT? Because really, it's your imagination that's holding you back. I'm going to show you in this presentation several different use cases of business owners that I work with, and just to give you an idea of how you can use it. What I've learned about teaching business owners ChatGPT, just like any new technology, you don't know what you don't know. And so the best way to understand how to use ChatGPT is to just see other people use it so that you can get some ideas. But if you get into the habit of using it and you get into the habit of saying, can I do this faster with ChatGPT? And then you start just trying different things, you're going to discover that it could do a lot more than you would ever have believed it could do. Now, since OpenAI came out with ChatGPT, when Microsoft bought their half of OpenAI, they included it into Bing under Bing Chat. So now you can get a version of ChatGPT through Microsoft Bing. Also, Google has brought out its version of ChatGPT called Bard AI. And now you have really 3 horses in the race. Now, I've tried all 3, and right now, still, I like ChatGPT more than I like Bing and Bard. However, the nice thing about Bing and Bard is that they have up-to-date information. So it's not it's not like ChatGPT where it's uploaded through September of 2021. Bard and Bing uploaded through current. Now, ChatGPT, if you purchase, there's a free version, but if you purchase a subscription to it, then you can now link to Bing and have that same access of current data as well. Now I'm going to get you show you some of these use cases. ChatGPT can be used in so many different ways, and I'm constantly creating new videos to show people how to use it. So let me give you some examples. Editing and grammar. First and foremost, if you do nothing else with ChatGPT, you should be editing everything, and I mean everything that's going out. Every email I send, every text, every post, social media post, it goes through ChatGPT. And all you have to do when you write whatever you're writing, you just go and write, you go to ChatGPT and you write, please edit, and then you paste whatever it is that you just wrote, and ChatGPT is going to make you sound so much better, so much smarter. So first and foremost, you should consider that. Now let me show you an example of how one of these business owners are using it. Okay, so we have write a response to an RFI for a company that can provide design services for a laboratory.
Yep.
Right? How much time did that just save you?
Yeah.
You know, so the way that I like to use this is if we have a Word document open or something like that, what I like to do is I'll take anything that I create, copy it, and bring it over to your open document, paste, and edit.
And then I can edit.
Yeah, so, and then what I do after I edit, I copy it, I bring it back to, and I say, please edit this for grammatical errors or whatever, just clean it up, basically.
That's excellent.
And then it's done.
Yeah, that's
Right.
excellent, because you know you're going to have things you'll edit it, right?
Right.
And that's okay. But it even just gets that whole process and picks up on some of the key things that you want to make sure that you incorporate into it. And it puts it in a sequence, and it puts it in correct grammar. And then what you just said, to take it, copy it over, and what did you say? Edit it for grammar?
Yeah, edit for grammar.
So you copy it, you paste it, or you ask it to edit below for grammar, or what did you?
Yeah. So basically what I say is I just put, please edit, like I'll write this. I'll just go,
Yeah.
please edit, and then I'll put a dash, and then I'll just paste it.
Okay.
And let it do the rest.
Oh my gosh.
You don't even have to get deeper or more descriptive than that. So there's a first use case, editing and grammar. Another one is just content creation. Pretty much creating any kind of ideas, content, basically writer's block is over. There is no writer's block anymore. Here's another example. And by the way, that last video, that was Anne-Marie Zisk. She's one of the owners of Craftworks manufacturing company. Let me show you this video.
So you could say, give me ideas for a employee outing. During summer or something. Anything, right?
During the summer. Here we go.
Let's see what it says.
Give me 10 ideas.
Yeah.
Here we go. Beach day. Picnic in the park. Outdoor movie night. Hiking adventure. All right, I'm gonna give me 10 unique ideas.
There you go.
Give me 10 unique ideas instead. I'm just gonna rewrite this just in case. Yeah, I'll do it this way. Give me 10 unique ideas instead. So we're gonna do that. Here we go. Themed costume party. Escape room challenge. Outdoor yoga and fitness. Art in the park. Photography expedition.
Outdoor cooking class, that's cool.
Treasure scavenger hunt. Sustainability initiative. Farm visit. Bird watching. There you go.
That's funny. Some of those are quite unique. And outdoor cooking would be cool.
Yeah.
That's fun, right?
Create an email for the employees regarding the outdoor cooking class. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. And how fast it does it is amazing to me.
It really is.
And to get it like almost like dead on. You know, you wordsmith a few things,
Right.
to fit you, or
Right.
tell it based on your personality to
Yeah.
redo. That's great because, like you said, some of these things I'd read and go, that would never come out of my mouth. You know what I mean? But knowing my personality, if I can put it in, change it to sound more like, and it does it, that's just.
Yeah. If you take like several samples of your own writing, like if you've written blogs before
Yeah.
or whatever, and you go to ChatGPT and say, write a letter to the grandkids, but using my voice, here's some examples of how I write. It will then take that and then write based on what it learned from what you shared with it. Yeah.
I love
So
this.
it is. And so what we're doing here is exactly the reaction that I want everybody to get, is that at first you're not entirely sure how to use it, but then all of a
Right.
sudden you start getting more and more ideas. And next thing you know, you're getting really into the habit of asking yourself every time, can I do this faster with ChatGPT?
And chances are yes.
Right. Now, a couple of things I want you to be mindful of with that exchange that I had with Michelle Vanderlane from Niagara Label. We asked for 10 ideas, and then we said 10 unique ideas. Adjectives matter. And this is that T part, the transformer part, where it weights the wording. The unique piece mattered because it gave, 10 different ideas, unique ideas, versus just 10 ideas. And also, you want to make sure that there were there was one other thing. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the several samples that it gave. There are different types of modifiers that I'm going to show you in regards to some of the ways to ask the question. They're going to help you get more out of any of the prompts that you put together with ChatGPT. So here's another one.
Let's say we're working at a trade show for the cannabis industry.
Mhm.
Okay. And I want to come up with, say, a tagline for the trade show, whether we're going to put on shirts. Maybe I wouldn't tell it to put on shirts, but like a clever tagline with a pun that has something to do with labels and cannabis. Just to have some fun with it, you know. I would like to see what that generates.
There we go.
I think.
Okay, so create a clever tagline with a pun that includes labels and cannabis.
Let's see what it does.
Sticking to quality where labels meet leaves. Oh no, how about this? Give me 10 ideas. 10 taglines.
See? That's interesting.
Labels to lift you higher.
Yeah. So what's interesting is we had one that we said, you know, labels, it's a sticky business because cannabis is, you know, and it just generated that, something similar. That's really interesting.
I want to be mindful too here is that we started with just asking the question, and then I said, give me 10. Again, the whole idea that if you ask for 100, you'd get 100. That is the way that it works. And if you didn't like any of the responses, you could hit the regenerate response and end up with 10 different ones. And it'll keep doing that just nonstop. It's really an amazing tool. Now, another area that is really useful for small business owners, especially considering that so many small businesses struggle with finding employees, you know, just creating job descriptions and job ads for Indeed or anything like that. You can create a job description in seconds now. Let me show you. So we'll create a job description or an ad we want to put on Indeed, or a what? What do you need?
I would say label salesman
Label salesman.
or person
Any specifics?
for on the road sales.
No, as far as expertise or anything, years of experience.
Sure. Say 5 years in sales. Doesn't have to be label. Sales experience. Must be able to travel. Be self-motivated.
Okay. Gotta love this.
What a tool. You know, it's interesting because I'm not one of these guys. I don't think I am. You know, when the car came along, I wasn't worried about my horse. I wouldn't be that guy, I don't think. And I don't think like when the telephone came out, I'd be like, well, I'll just walk and go see someone. I'd like to think that I embrace technology. And I'll tell you, it's amazing. This concerns me insofar as that, like, okay, this is writing stuff for people that maybe would get stuck, that would have to think through it. And now it's generating it for you. And I fear it could dumb people down. But, you know, again, it's a tool that I think you got to learn to harness. But wow, that's something.
Got to learn to harness, because one of the things that I'm learning very quickly is, and the way I think you should consider it too, is that ChatGPT is not going to replace you. The people that use ChatGPT are, and because it's a very powerful tool, and they're going to have a serious advantage on you. Now, this one is really interesting, especially for all you accountants out there. Okay, last week I took this picture of the park. Accountant one next. This is one on social media where I went out of my way to use ChatGPT to have conviction on a topic. Parking lot of the Tri-Main Center. I have a lot of clients that are in the Tri-Main Center, and the reason why I took this picture was because the parking lot is full. Back in 2019, when I would go visit clients, the parking lot would be full and I'd have to go to the spill-off parking lot. After COVID, what I really enjoyed is when I would come here, the parking lot was never full, and it was easy to get a parking space. So last week, the parking lot was full again. So I took the picture, and I wanted to put a post together that basically stated that remote work is dead, because I know the topic of remote work gets people going. So I thought, you know what, I'll get ChatGPT to help me out in creating a post that hopefully will go viral. So I wrote the original post here, and then I asked ChatGPT to please edit. So you see it says please edit. Then I wrote the post, and then it edited it. So I took a look at it. I kind of liked it, but I wanted to be more assertive, because I want to make sure that it sounds like I'm having a real opinion here. And so then it made it far more assertive. And then I said, be even more assertive with the argument that remote work is far less effective, and that and the businesses that allow for it are falling behind their competitors who are not allowing work from home. So it added that. I liked it. And then I decided to add at the beginning, remote work from home is dead. So once we did that, I copied, pasted. That was 6 days ago. That was over the weekend on June 10th. And here's the reaction. 6 days later, 41 likes and others, 39 comments, almost 17,000 impressions. There are a lot of work at home maxis, man. They just got fired up. And gosh, there was this one guy, this George McCovey, who went out of his way to connect with me so he could DM me to just tell me how stupid I was. And then as that last 90 days, 436 profile views. There's been considerable amount of activity on this. ChatGPT. With great power comes great responsibility. For social media that I was just trying something different, where I knew that work from home is a topic where it seems like half the population doesn't like it, half the population does like it. So I knew it was going to be a hot topic. I added a picture, which always helps with social media. I dropped it on LinkedIn over the weekend. So there were a lot of things that I knew just from working with social media that I knew would help it. Plus, I have a over 1,000 connections. So I have people that are going to, on a regular basis, look at my stuff. Now, with all of that, this then helped make it even more viral. I showed you it was like around 17,000. A few days later now, it's at almost 24,000. Plus, there's been reposts, and it just keeps going. Now, writer's block is dead, and there is no reason why you shouldn't be posting your business on social media. There is no excuse, because you could go onto ChatGPT right here, right now, and just ask ChatGPT, create 5 posts that have the greatest chance of going viral for my industry X, right? Now, be mindful, if you're not on a regular basis already consistently showing up on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or wherever you are, if you're not consistently doing that, ChatGPT might be able to write 5 different topics that could go viral, but they probably won't, because you don't have the foundation in place. But what I suggest is that you start creating that foundation. Get ChatGPT to write topics on your industry, on your behalf, edit it, get it out there. Because one thing that I've learned about marketing and social media, marketing, branding, social media, is that if you're not on social media, your company does not exist. So you need to be out there, and ChatGPT just makes it so much easier. Now, the great thing about ChatGPT and Bard and Bing is that this can translate from English to other languages to English. There's great ways to learn and train. Like, for instance, if you didn't understand financials, if you don't know financials, you could take a financial report, a profit and loss, and a balance sheet, and put it onto ChatGPT, and it will break down that report for you and simplify it. Or let's say you just don't know a topic. Let's say you don't even understand what a profit and loss is. You could go to ChatGPT and say, explain a profit and loss statement to me as if I were a 10-year-old, and it will simplify it and bring it down to that level. Or you could say something like, act like a CPA at an audit firm and review my financials and give me your opinion on the health of the company. You could do all of that with ChatGPT, and it will answer you. Here's another eye.
You could do a standard operating procedure for digital HP press, a label job. I don't know. This would be pushing it. I'm interested to see what it comes up with.
So,
or printing labels on an HP 6000 digital press. That's pretty specific, but we'll see.
All right, so we're gonna create a standard operating procedure for printing labels on an HP 6000 digital press.
Yep. Wow.
So this speeds up the whole process, right?
Yeah.
It's a great starting point. And then if you want, just rewrite this.
Well, every company is going to have its own little take or spin or things that are important to it, but like you said, it's a heck of a start. I mean, that's really impressive. Huh.
Standard operating procedures, even if it didn't know much. I mean, this was asking, create a standard operating procedure for an HP 6000 digital print press. It knew what that was, and it created the steps. Now you could take whatever it creates and then continue to add upon it. and build it out. So it would be writing a difficult letter to a customer regarding what
let's
would
just
be
say passing along increased logistics costs or shipping costs.
related
You label
to a purchase of labels.
Yep.
Okay, so we do that, and something as simple as that.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. Of course, you know, from my perspective, a letter like this might be too long, or
Yep.
you know, you can take pieces of it. I found, again, and I'm very limited with what I've used it for, but I've done things like this where I send a letter and there's a sentence or two that I'm like, ooh, that needs to be said. You know what I mean? To extract certain specific things out of it, I found very useful.
All right, so then how about this? Rewrite this with more empathy and 200 words or less. So, you know, if you want to trim this down even below 200, there you go. So,
Yep.
so now we're getting much shorter of a response, but hopefully what you need. And then, of course, like you were saying, you could just copy it, paste it, and edit it.
Yeah.
Because the way I like to say it is that no matter what you use it for, it's somewhere between the 50 to 99% complete. And
it's pretty amazing how good it can be. I like what you just said about adding empathy. You know, we spend a lot of time talking about company cultures and stuff. So it's interesting because when people think of artificial intelligence, they just think it's robotic or it can't sound like them. But you can sort of direct it, as I'm learning quickly, direct it to have your nuance to it, you know, or how you would approach, how you'd want to say it. And if something doesn't sound right, it's okay. You can just give it a little direction and regenerate the response. And it's kind of cool.
yeah. Whenever you ask ChatGPT questions, it remembers the last thing you asked. So you don't have to bring the question back. You can just say, make what you just wrote shorter to 200 words or less or whatever. Everything you put on here is 50 to 99% complete. Keep that in mind. So you always want to check before you send it out, because even though this answers so quickly and it always seems like it's always right, it's not always right. And I'm going to show you that in a second. And then again, think about the modifiers, the adjectives, write it with more empathy, and you get a completely different letter, and it's certainly more empathetic. Marketing and sales copy. Here's another good use for it, as well as document creation. What I have created is a Chat GPT cheat sheet. So I will share this with everybody, a PDF where it kind of gives you an idea of how to use ChatGPT, how to use the prompts better, act as a website developer to create whatever kind of a task, a summary, a recipe, whatever, and showing the following. It can break it out into table form. It could do it in a PDF, HTML, plain text, you name it, it can do it. It can create spreadsheets if you want it to. Also, I have some ChatGPT prompts that are very useful to small business owners on this cheat sheet, which again, we'll share with you. Now, let's talk a little bit about something that just happened 3 weeks ago. A lawyer used ChatGPT to cite bogus cases. So Stephen Schwartz of Levidow, and Oberman faces a June 8th sanctions hearing before the U.S. District Judge after he admitted to using ChatGPT for a brief in his client's personal injury case. The brief cited 6 non-existent court decisions. Think about that, non-existent court decisions. So here is the court case, and here are the 6 non-existent court decisions that ChatGPT just made up. And here's Stephen Schwartz signing off on it, and now he's in pretty big trouble. This is where you could get into big trouble with ChatGPT if you're not checking, because ChatGPT created these cases, these court cases that did not exist. And when they went back to check and they, the lawyer asked, is that case real? So it did say, yes, it's real. What's your source? And then when it asked its source, it confused ChatGPT and it realized, I apologize for the confusion. It didn't know if it was real or not. And of course, when it was checked by the defendants, they certainly were not real cases. So what is this? This is what we call AI hallucinations. And it's where AI systems like ChatGPT generate incorrect or invented information. Now, how does this happen? Well, this is the G part of GPT, the generative part. Once again, when there is a lack of data, when ChatGPT or any of these AI do not have the answer, what the generative part is trained to do is fill that void with the information that it thinks is correct. So what it can accidentally do is fill that void with something that's not actual. And that, of course, got Stephen Schwartz in trouble. So I went on to ChatGPT and I just asked the question, does the generative programming allow for fill-in gaps when it doesn't have the information from what it has been pre-trained? Yes, in a way, GPT uses patterns it learned during its pre-training phase to generate plausible sounding responses, even when it doesn't have specific information about the question. So if you ask GPT a question that's beyond its training data, it won't be able to provide an accurate or updated answer. However, it may generate a response that seems plausible based on similar topics or contexts that is seen in its training data. It's also important to note that ChatGPT can generate plausible sounding responses. These aren't always accurate or reliable, especially when it comes to questions that require specialized or up-to-date knowledge. So then I asked, is this how it can create AI hallucinations? Yes, the term AI hallucination is often used to refer to instances where AI systems like GPT generate information that seems plausible but not accurate or real. Because GPT models are trained on vast amounts of data, they learn patterns and correlations within the data. When asked to generate new text, they can create outputs that seem accurate based on those patterns, even if the specific details haven't been explicitly learned or aren't grounded in reality. And then I finally asked, is this then possible that AI like ChatGPT can cite court cases that are not real? Yes, that is possible, given that GPT models like ChatGPT don't have a source of truth or access to real-time database. They can make mistakes or hallucinate details that seem plausible but are not real. This includes generating non-existing court cases. So you got to be really careful with what you use it for, because poor Stephen Schwartz, during the hearing on June 8th, Stephen Schwartz pleaded with the court not to sanction him. The judge said, however, no decision was made during the hearing. The judge gave a stern acknowledgement and suggested that he could still impose sanctions on Schwartz. The judge is expected to determine whether sanctions were warranted or if the accusations of fraud and the reputational damage to Schwartz and his law firm have already faced are sufficient. Believe me, every lawyer in America and possibly in the world knows this guy for all the wrong reasons. You don't want to be like Stephen Schwartz, so you got to be careful. You want to cross-verify all of the information. I'm telling you, the more you use ChatGPT, the more it feels like it is always correct. It is not. You're 50 to 99% correct. Always check it. Make sure you educate yourself on the AI functionality. Again, it's not human. It's not conscious. It sometimes does feel like it, the chat part of it really feels like you're talking to a human. You are not. So always be mindful of that and consider professional consultation for critical tasks. While AI can provide helpful insight, it's best to consult a professional for serious matters. You got to be, again, careful with what you're putting out there because you can get in trouble. And, Stephen Schwartz potentially could have lost his license. So ChatGPT, why do we need it? Why do you want it? First of all, it's going to disrupt all industries. It's already doing this. This is just months after the beta started. IBM to pause hiring in plan to replace 7,800 jobs with AI. That happened in May. Chegg shares dropped more than 40% after company says ChatGPT is killing its business. This is just the beginning. I mean, it's been around for about 6 months now, and it's already disrupting different industries. You want to use ChatGPT because of improved efficiency. I think just from some of the use cases, you'll see that it saves incredible time. But the other efficiencies, here's a report from Goldman Sachs where it breaks down about 20 different industries, and then it shows how AI like ChatGPT is going to affect that industry. The industries that are dark blue are not going to be affected as much. The light blue means it's going to have an AI complement associated with it, and the gray means it's going to be completely replaced. And as you can see, as we go further from left to right, and we go from blue collar jobs to white collar jobs, the white collar jobs are complemented and or replaced. But as you can see in all of these, there is a component of AI complement in all of them. It's gonna get to the point where you really won't be able to avoid it. So you want to be ahead of the curve in learning this. It'll give you the competitive advantage. Again, ChatGPT is not going to replace you, but the people that use it will. You might as well be that people that use it. It gives you expanded knowledge. This is going to open up your opportunity to learn so much more, because things like explain something to me like I'm a 10-year-old can certainly help you learn a lot faster. And this is not a fad, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a fad. Let me just show you what AI looks like today, the market size today, about $164 billion business today. In 7 years, 2030, it's going to be a $1.6 trillion business. It's going to 10x in 7 years. This is not a fad, and this is just the beginning. It is an exciting time for sure. Okay, so finally, the call to action. ChatGPT, leave it open on your desktop. Get into the habit of asking, can I do this faster with ChatGPT? Make this part of your weekly team discussion. So not only should you use it, but you need to get your whole company involved in it. You want to multiply the efficiencies of ChatGPT by getting your whole team involved. And if you like it, try the free version first. Then if you do like it and you're going to use it more, I say choose the monthly subscription over the annual subscription. There is so much new AI, so many new apps that are being built on top of ChatGPT and other, AI, that some of the things that I've bought, and I purchased an annual subscription thinking this is going to be something I'm going to use all the time, has been replaced by new AI that just does it better, or is more efficient, or is cheaper, or something. And so what I would suggest you do is always try the free version first. Then if you really like it, go with the monthly subscription, because you might discover that there's another AI coming down the path that's even better. But you want to get started on it, because in my more extended class where I teach a course, I show you apps that can really they're just game changers in small businesses and just businesses in general. And there is so much new AI that's coming out all the time. It is really hard to keep up with all of it. And in fact, speaking of AI, here's a cool AI app where you could take your QR code and you can create any kind of image on it. This is an image of my website that you could just use your phone to get the QR code. And this has my latest course. I have a webinar course that I'm going to be performing in July, which is a much more extended version of what I showed you, with many more use cases and ways to use it, plus additional apps. So you can go on there or go to my website at yenllc.com. If you're interested, for the next 24 hours, it's $149, but it'll be $199 after that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is ChatGPT.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
You're welcome.
Tremendous amount of information, and I think you wowed people. Had a
Awesome.
lot of interesting questions come through on the chat. You ready to take them?
Let's go.
Okay. First, the easy one. What's the software you used for your presentation?
That's called Prezi, Prezi, and it's not an AI app, although I assume every company's going to pull AI into their product. But the thing I like about Prezi is that it makes it feel more like a movie than anything else, which I think helps keep people's attention.
Okay. There were a lot of concerns expressed in the chat about confidentiality, particular confidentiality and proprietary issues. Someone mentioned about what are the concerns with regard to copyrights, trademark protection, and also about whether Chat GPT has access to items in our private cloud storage once we get involved with it.
Okay, so I don't have all the answers to all of that. I do know that if you read the privacy policy, and I go into more detail in my course on this, but if you read the privacy policy of any of them, ChatGPT, Bard, Bing, that they say they do not share any of this data with third parties. However, they use the data, the questions that you ask, and how you ask them. What they say is they use that to help create a better experience for that product. So when I hear that, I'm thinking you got to be careful with what you're putting out there, because you just have to assume that the risk is there. And I would avoid putting any confidential information on there. At the least, you would, you'd black out all the things that are confidential, or just don't even consider it. When you're using ChatGPT, and as far as any kind of sharing on the cloud, or anything like that, like I said, you have to make assumptions that, just like Google, just like how you use any of these other apps, it's possible that your information could be at risk. But one other thing with that, as far as copyrights and all that, this is the Wild West right now. There's an app out there that I show in the course where I take the picture of, God and Adam, Michelangelo's painting, and I take basically I draw a circle around where God and Adam are touching, and then using, this is Adobe, the new AI version of Adobe, and all I do is type in wrench, and then all of a sudden God is handing Adam a wrench, and then one of the individuals that was in my course that I taught was a plumber, so I put his company's name and the phone number, and now you can do stuff like that. Are you breaking any copyrights or anything? This is the Wild West, so you got to just be careful on how you use it, what you're using it for. And obviously, if you're starting to question that, then more than likely you should probably not use whatever logo or whatever it is that you're using.
Okay. There were a couple of questions that related to situations where people have been notified that AI generated content will be downgraded. It will downgrade a submission. For example, there's related to that, someone asked, does Google notify you of being downgraded for using AI?
Probably not. Google's too big and they're not going to do that. However, I've heard that too, where if you're using basically a Chat GPT type of AI to create your posts, that it's not going to hit the algorithm. The algorithm won't pick up on it or won't pick it up. And that's probably true to a degree, because I would assume it would be relatively easier for that algorithm to figure that out eventually. However, what I like to do is I like to start with ChatGPT. Like I showed you, I wrote what I wrote myself first. I asked ChatGPT to edit it, and then I added a couple of additional pieces to it to make it even more personalized. I added a picture. I did other things so that it wasn't just an AI post. And I think that's probably the way you want to use it.
Okay, and that relates pretty much to this question about it was asked, please say more about Chat GPT for content creation. I'm doing a blog primarily for SEO. Will chat hurt my efforts for creation of the blog?
Probably yes, but this is what I suggest you do. If you have a background in SEO and the blog you're building is because you already are in you're in the business, that is your industry. Just like every other industry, a lot of these industries are slow to move to change. Be the leader with AI and use that to help improve SEO and sell that. Niche into SEO with AI, and there's going to be a lot more opportunity for you that way. And at least you'll be a leader in your field. And that's the thing is, think about the industries that you're in. There's a lot of business owners that are in these industries that are really slow to change. In fact, there's so many business owners that I work with that don't even really put anything on social media at all. And that's social media. Now we're going to a new level with AI. This is an opportunity. You don't really have to do too much to be a leader in your industry. So at the least, learn it and be a leader in your industry, because you can steal a lot of market share that way.
Okay, can you expand on where to learn about prompt engineering?
Yeah, the prompt engineering is a brand new industry. There are prompt engineers being hired already. As far as learning, the best thing that I can say is for you to, because this is so cutting edge that there really isn't any, schools for it or anything like that. Basically, what you need to do is you need to spend time on Reddit, you need to spend time on Twitter, and that is where the cutting edge, latest information is coming out of. I spend a lot of time on Twitter, and I get a lot of information that way so that I'm on top of this whole AI thing. I think that's the best thing that you can do is invest time and, go to those social sites and start searching. And then eventually you're going to find a group of people that are going to allow you to really learn what it is that you want to learn as far as the prompts and things like that. I also have a list, a 2-page list of a whole bunch of different prompts that you can use for different types of topics. And I can add that to what I'll share with you, Ted.
Okay, that's great. And I can send that out immediately to our attendees.
Sure.
Besides the obvious money difference, what is the difference between the free version? How much more do you get with the paid version as opposed to the free version?
Well, the paid version, you get the option to click on Bing. So you no longer have ChatGPT that's only been updated through September of 2021. You now have ChatGPT that's updated through today, which is cool. And then also you get the option of plugins. So think of the App Store on your iPhone and all of these other apps that you can purchase on top of what you already have with the iPhone. You could do the same thing now with ChatGPT. So it is there's already there's got to be thousands of plugins already that are being created. So pretty much anything that you need is either already in existence or going to be, and that's what you would get with the purchased subscription.
Okay. Can AI help create a website was one of the questions.
Yes. I actually purchased a subscription for that called Dectopus. I believe it was Dectopus, and basically what it does is just like the prompt that you see in ChatGPT, it's a prompt where you just say, I'm creating a presentation for small business owners on how to learn ChatGPT, create a presentation. And then it'll just ask you several questions like, how long is it going to be? 25 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and you just choose that. And then it asks a couple more questions and it pops out, depending on the timeline that you gave it, pops out anywhere between 10 and 20 PowerPoint slides. It's pretty cool, actually. But yeah, there's a bunch of them out there. Now, I've tried them. First of all, I'm a Prezi guy, as you see, so I'm not much for the PowerPoint. I just wanted to see what kind of information you would get. And, I use some of it. Again, it's a great starting point, especially if you don't know where to begin with your presentation.
Well, that's all the questions that came in. I think I've covered them all. I did combine some of the questions. Okay, the one maybe that I missed was when will ChatGPT be upgraded from the 2020 database?
2021. Yeah. You know what? They
2021.
haven't come out with that as to when, but I'm guessing it's going to be within months, because you could already do it with, the attachments of Bing, and Bard already is up to date. So I assume that that's not that far away. I don't have a date though. They didn't give a date.
Okay. Well, that's all that we had as far as questions in the chat, Anthony. I want to thank you very much for the presentation, terrific information and references. And we have a couple of things that we're sending out to our attendees that you will be providing for me or to me. When you're prepared to go ahead and share the recording with our attendees, we will we'll go ahead and do that. But I want to thank everybody for being with us tonight. Again, thank you, Anthony, for the presentation. Look forward to having you attendees go ahead and take a look at the buffaloniagara.score.org website for future workshops and webinars. And to all of you, thank you and good night.
Thanks, guys. Take care.